There is a quiet revolution that begins the day you decide to stop waiting, waiting to be picked, waiting to be seen, waiting to be loved the way you've always longed for. There is a shift almost invisible when you finally whisper to yourself, "No more," and not out of bitterness, not out of rage, but out of love, a deep, powerful, non-negotiable love for the person staring back at you in the mirror. That's the moment everything begins to change, because the truth is, life doesn't change when they come back. It doesn't change when they finally apologize. It doesn't even change when they tell you everything you ever wanted to hear. It changes when you choose you. You've been taught that love means sacrifice, that loyalty means staying, that kindness means being quiet, even when everything inside you is screaming for more. But let me ask you something. Where did that story take you? How many times have you twisted yourself into versions that didn't feel like you, just to keep the peace? How many times have you given chances to people who gave you crumbs? How many times have you said, "It's okay," when it was never okay? That's not love, that's not loyalty, that's not kindness, that's abandonment. And it doesn't start with others, it starts with how you treat you. Self-abandonment is quiet. It doesn't show up with alarms. It shows up in the subtle ways you ignore your truth, when you say yes to things that drain you, when you forgive too quickly just to keep someone close, when you lower your standards because being alone feels scarier than being disrespected, and with every compromise, a piece of you slips away. Until one day, you don't recognize yourself. You look in the mirror and the spark is gone, not because life broke you, but because you stopped choosing you. But here's the good news. The moment you decide to choose yourself, even once something radical happens, your soul starts to remember. It remembers the fire. It remembers the dream. It remembers what it means to stand tall in your truth, no matter who stays or walks away. It's not an overnight change. It's not a dramatic movie scene. It's a series of small, powerful moments where you say, "No, I'm not okay with that. I deserve more. I'm not waiting anymore. This time, I'm choosing me." You might lose people. You might feel lonely at first. But that loneliness, it's sacred, because it's not the kind of loneliness that comes from not being loved. It's the kind that comes when you're finally clearing space for the love that's real. Choosing yourself means setting boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect your peace. It means letting go of things that no longer feed your spirit, even if they once did. It means honoring your voice, even when it trembles. It means saying, "I will no longer abandon myself to make someone else comfortable." You'll be tested. Oh, you'll be tested. Life will send you the same lesson in a different body. It'll tempt you to go back, to shrink again, to please again, to prove again. But this time, you'll be different, because now you know what it feels like to choose yourself. And once you've felt that power, once you've tasted that freedom, nothing else feels like home. You'll stop chasing closure from people who were never open. You'll stop begging for love that doesn't know how to receive you. You'll stop measuring your worth by someone else's ability to see it. Because when you choose yourself, you stop waiting to be loved, and you start becoming the love you needed. You become the one who listens, the one who holds you through the pain, the one who doesn't walk away no matter how messy it gets. You become the partner you were always seeking, and suddenly your life shifts, not because everything outside of you changes, but because you changed. You walk differently, you speak differently, you no longer beg for energy that you now realize. You are, and the world responds, not instantly, not perfectly, but with people and opportunities that match your new frequency. The ones who honor your boundaries, the ones who value your truth, the ones who don't just want your presence, they respect it, but they only arrive after you've created space. The life you want is on the other side of letting go of everything you accepted just to feel safe. Because what kept you safe also kept you stuck. Safe isn't always true. Comfortable isn't always kind. Familiar isn't always love. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is leave the room, block the number, start over, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself enough not to stay where you're not seen. This is your moment. Not next week, not when you feel ready, not after they change. Now. Now is when you stop negotiating with your worth. Now is when you stop chasing people who run. Now is when you stop watering dead plants hoping they'll grow. Now is when you rise. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you stop loving others. It means you stop loving them more than you love your peace. It means you stop trying to fix what was never yours to heal. It means you trust that anything you lose by being real was never meant for the real you. And I'll leave you with this. The world told you that being chosen is the prize, but here's what they didn't tell you. Choosing yourself is the revolution. It's the quiet rebellion that flips your entire life. It's the moment you stop being a character in someone else's story and start becoming the author of your own. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not behind. You're just finally ready to come home to you, and that changes everything. There is a moment in every person's life where the noise gets too loud, the pressure to be everything to everyone, the demand to perform, to impress, to keep it all together even when you're falling apart inside. But beneath all of it, beneath the chaos, the roles, the masks, there's a whisper, a gentle voice asking you, when will you matter to you? That voice is your soul, and no matter how long you've ignored it, numbed it, silenced it, it never gives up on you, because it knows something you've forgotten. You were never meant to live disconnected from yourself. We talk about heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, but we rarely talk about the pain of losing yourself in the process. When you give so much to someone that you forget your own dreams, when you stay so long in situations that deplete you, you no longer remember what joy feels like. When you bury your voice so deep, you start wondering if it ever existed at all. That kind of grief, it's quiet, it's slow, it's suffocating, and it often goes unnoticed even by you, because you've convinced yourself that this is just how life is. That selflessness equals strength. That martyrdom equals love, but the truth is, love was never meant to cost you. You don't earn love through sacrifice. You don't prove your worth by staying when you should walk away. You don't have to shrink to be loved, not real love. The moment you realize that is the moment you begin coming home to yourself, and that homecoming, it's the most important journey of your life. Coming home to yourself means remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Before you learned to trade your truth for acceptance. Before you decided it was safer to be liked than to be real. It's remembering the parts of you that once lit up the room, the dreams you stuffed down to keep the peace, the boundaries you erased to stay in someone's good graces. Coming home to yourself means gathering all those lost pieces and saying, I see you, I miss you, and I'm ready to bring you back. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to someone ancient, someone whole, the version of you that always existed beneath the wounds, the one who trusted their voice, who followed their curiosity, who believed they were enough without needing to perform for it. That version of you didn't disappear. They just got buried under years of people, pleasing, survival patterns, and fear. But now you're ready, not because you've figured everything out, but because you're tired of pretending you're not already whole. So how do you begin? With honesty, radical, gut-level honesty with yourself. Ask yourself, where have I stayed too long? Where have I given too much? What am I pretending not to know? Those questions are uncomfortable, but they are also the doorway to your freedom, because you can't love yourself if you don't see yourself, and you can't see yourself if you're busy hiding behind a life that no longer fits. Coming home means letting go. Letting go of roles that don't feel like you, letting go of relationships that no longer reflect your worth, letting go of habits that were once survival tools but now only keep you small. It's not easy. In fact, it's painful, because grieving the life you settled for is the cost of building the life you deserve. But here's what no one tells you. What you lose when you choose yourself is nothing compared to what you gain. You gain your voice, you gain your joy, You gain mornings that feel peaceful, nights that feel safe, and a heart that feels full. You gain trust in yourself again. Trust that you won't abandon yourself, even if others do. Trust that you will show up not just for the world, but for you. You become your own safe space, your own best friend, your own soft place to land. And when you reach that place, everything around you begins to shift. You'll attract different energy because people can feel when you're whole, not perfect, not healed in every way, but whole in the sense that you belong to yourself again. People will notice that you no longer bend just to be accepted. They'll see that your peace is not negotiable, that your love is not desperate. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to be, but because truth is irresistible. Coming home to yourself changes your relationships, your career, your health, your energy, because now you're living aligned. You're no longer spending hours questioning your worth. You're no longer drained by the chaos of people who don't know how to meet you with respect. You're choosing clarity over confusion, peace over performance, depth over distraction, and you'll notice something beautiful. You'll stop chasing, not because you've given up, but because you finally trust what's meant, for you will not require you to lose yourself. You'll stop begging, you'll stop proving, you'll stop over-explaining, because when you come home to yourself, you know in your bones that you are not for everyone, and that's okay. You were never meant to be. You're here to live your truth, not rent space in someone else's expectations. You're here to move with grace, not desperation. You're here to be, not perform. So take a breath right now, wherever you are. Take a breath and remember, you don't need to fix yourself to be worthy. You don't need their validation to begin. You don't need a roadmap. You just need to take the next true step. And then another. And then another, until one day you wake up and realize you are no longer looking for home, because you are home, and everything changes.